3-0. Welcome to For Fantasy's Sake, presented by Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill on the For Frequency's Sake podcast network. I am your host for today, Mr. DJ Jarvis. I am joined by Joe. If one less guy would have joined the transfer portal, Florida State would have only lost by 40. Winkle. Jordan, DJ forgot to report as eligible, so we got a free win. Kernan and Dan going through it today, so we're not going to say anything about against him. How you guys doing this morning?
I'm exhausted.
I'm doing great. I'm glad I'm not a Lions fan because I would be Dan right now. I'd be looking to kill people.
Starting with Scott Perry.
I saw a funny meme before we went live of the Thanos. What did you get? What you wanted? Yeah. What did it cost you? Everything. It was. Yes. What did it cost the Lion?
What was the joke? DJ? Someone had nasty reverb there, and I couldn't hear it.
I'm not explaining it again, Joe.
Okay.
That Lions and Pistons one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Where it's like one Detroit sports team's good, the others suck for 10 years.
Hey, man. They got so jobbed. I feel bad for them. One of my best friends is a Lions fan. That's every time they go to Dallas, they get screwed.
Going through the big D. All right. So we're going to switch things up a little bit from what we normally do. Instead of playing Fantasy Tinder today, we're going to hand out some awards to Brock Purdy.
Congratulations.
The Joe Winkle MVP of the Year award.
Yeah, that's
congratulations, Brock Purdy. You're not going to get actual awards, so
Joe,
let's give you some fake ones.
This was the meme I was referring to.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Congrats to the Pistons.
All right. I guess we're all underdressed.
Oh my God. Who just died?
No, that was my cat.
Oh.
No, that's me.
All right. So our positional MVPs, we had a three-way tie at the top at quarterback between CJ Stroud, Dak Prescott, and Josh Allen for top fantasy quarterbacks. And basically to wrap this up to preface this for everybody, we all voted. We didn't go on who scored the most fantasy points, where they were drafted, just who to us had the most value, or coming up soon, the least value at each position. So our quarterback positional MVPs, CJ Stroud, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen. Any of you boys have any strong opinions on those?
Who the hell put Josh Allen? That's my own.
It's a great question.
I picked Stroud just because if he didn't get hurt, I think he would have finished the season top 3, top 4. I could see why with Dak, 'cause he's been playing MVP level, but Josh Allen has just been so mid this year. In the words of Joe Winkle, the Bills are ass. And the last 2 weeks, the only reason they've played well is because they've run the ball because they know the passing game's not there.
Bills I know, but beat the Chiefs in the first round or ass, but they're probably going to beat the Chiefs in the first round. So
I can tell you, put Josh Allen. I put Josh Allen because I had him in a league, and he helped carry me to the best league record until in the first round of the playoffs. You know, you have 2 of the top 5 wide receivers in fantasy, and they're both hurt. So shout out to Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill. So yeah, no, I just went off him because I thought he had the best. He had some of the more gaudy statistics. Yeah, he had some horrendous. You know, the Bills are the fantasy football fans, they're the wet dream. Now James Cook is hooping, so everybody who prognosticated James Cook to have a good year can flex and show their six-pack
Yes.
on Twitter. Like our
Yes.
friend here, Jordan. Josh Allen finished his QB1. And fantasy, the fantasy football types are the ones who think Josh Allen is the greatest quarterback of all time. So
Joe dunking on fantasy football types on a fantasy football show can't.
that's the point, DJ. But no, I put Josh. Was it one vote? I mean, I'm
No,
guessing
we're
someone
seeing
else
somebody else put Josh Allen too.
So I'm not the only one, but I know I did. He was QB1. I could have. I like the Stroud pick too, because when he got hot, he was on, like, his numbers were insane. So no wrong choices there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I had Josh Allen in the league too, and
Not
the
to
rest
throw
of my team
anybody under
sucked.
the bus, but you should send Gunnar Haskins a thank you note
was that?
because he was the other one who voted for Josh Allen.
Oh.
Gunner, you're wrong.
Yeah, I put Christian McCaffrey. So I think Christian McCaffrey has far and away been one of the best. I mean, all the quarterbacks to me, like Dan said, I mean, nobody's really stood out. Like, I mean, even Lamar Jackson to me hasn't had like a super incredible year. Like, he's been really good, but he has, nobody's like, every year you could pick one quarterback and be like, yeah, he's been pretty phenomenal, and the team is, he's really carried his team. And there really hasn't been a quarterback that's done that. Teams that are doing really good, it's been a team effort. Where I think Christian McCaffrey has just been, I mean, he's in the top 15 in fantasy points. I mean, he outranks a lot of quarterbacks that people drafted who, they drafted in the first, couple rounds that really, really let people down. So I put Christian McCaffrey.
Was McCaffrey unanimous?
I think we had a vote for we had a vote for Raheem Mostert, which I don't think is wrong.
No, it's not bad.
So I think when you look at that bottom row, this is pretty much the guy that I think the guys we all.
I was gonna say, a world where McCaffrey didn't score a touchdown in like 9 consecutive weeks, you could definitely have that conversation of who had a better year. If McCaffrey just had his average season, then I think you could definitely have that conversation between him and Mostert.
Yeah, and I think it's obvious Tyreek was the guy there at wide receiver and Laporte at tight end, because both of them were awesome. We did have a couple votes for TJ Hawkinson at tight end. Again, don't think that's wrong either, but for my money, Laporte was the guy.
Yeah, what a year. What a year for Laporta.
Any other thoughts on our top position, guys?
The fact that Kyle Pitts is not in there is just insane.
I know.
No Jonnu Smith love.
That would have been a Jordan thing. Jordan.
That was a Brian right there.
Oh, right. And our fantasy busts of the year.
Miles Sanders, LOL.
Again, Burrow, Fields tied. Miles Sanders, Bijan tied. Calvin Ridley and Travis.
You know what it is? Like with three of those, it's just, I feel like Burrow is the situational of him just being hurt all year. Like, I get why you could say he's a bust because you draft him high and you go over a lot of quarterbacks thinking he's going to have his normal year. Bijan, it's just because their coach doesn't know how to coach a team. And Miles Sanders was just, when he got hit with that injury and they only had to go to Chuba Hubbard for 3 straight weeks, and they just figured might as well keep it going.
Yeah, Hubbard's just a better player. Kelsey's probably the biggest. Is probably the biggest one on the list here, right? Because Kelsey was like a first rounder.
Yeah, I saw people taking him like 3rd, 4th overall,
and he's had a pretty bad year. Fields, I would say Fields and Ridley are a tie for second. I know I put both of them. As someone who put a lot of stock into Calvin Ridley's season, and then to watch the Jags every week look like they don't practice. Yeah, tough sailing there.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive I put Ridley well. Just the value that, I mean, he was drafted so high, and I was actually mad in a few leagues because he went way higher than, like I had him circled on my sheet. He went way higher than what I thought, and then I'm really glad I didn't get him because he had a few good weeks, and it really honestly took Christian Kirk to go down to really elevate him to the level that, I mean, he's had some good weeks the past few weeks, but you look at Bijan Robinson, same thing. He was picked. I think he was picked in the first round in a lot of drafts. Joe Burrow isn't necessarily surprising to me, but he just had a lot of injuries and stuff as well. But he didn't go. I mean, he was kind of hurt to start the season, and everybody kind of knew it. So he didn't go as high as I thought he would anyway. So,
right. I think the only one here that I really felt strongly about, and we all have our guys, our people who we think are gonna, have big years, and they end up turning. Mine was Najee. So I voted for Najee as the bust, but I was only because I was like, again, one of the crazy folks that said, that thought Najee was, actually.
You know what hurts the most with Kelsey for me is I think I was the 9th pick in my 10-man league, and Kelsey dropped all the way to me at 9, and I had my heart set on I was gonna go Amon-Ra first round, and I panicked because it was like, why did Kelsey fall to me? Do they know something? And I didn't have enough time, so I panicked and I picked Kelsey, and then my next 2 picks were picked by the next guy, and I was like, okay, well, I got Travis Kelsey, I'm okay. I just won the last place game, so I didn't have to do the punishment.
You know what actually statistically hurts the most is being so close and watching you walk away and having so much to say. Shout out Rascal Flats.
And the show gets banned for copyright.
You're such a dad.
Yeah, and it's just like that episode of The Office.
Exactly. Before we head to commercial, we're going to look at fantasy LVP. These were the candidates for least valuable player.
I see 2 of mine on there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know one of the ones I put.
Pollard, I would definitely agree with. There was just so much. I think you could almost put him for the bus because there was so much hype on him going into this year.
Tony Pollard was the wet dream of this season, where you listen to certain shows. I don't think ours was that big, but like I remember listening to like the Ringers fantasy show, and they were just talking about how Tony Pollard was going to be the greatest player of all time. I know I bought it in one.
And then once they got rid of Zeke, they transitioned to a pass-heavy offense, and then he couldn't get his touches because there was no Zeke to just bully them down and wear them down.
He's not a 3-down back.
No,
he's just not.
And Kenny Pickett, I've said it. Yeah, Kenny Pickett, I've said it since week 1. I hate Kenny Pickett. Do you know how much joy it felt on Christmas Eve watching them chant for Mason Rudolph?
Huh.
Like, and they show the video of Kenny Pickett just looking into the crowd as they're chanting for Rudolph. Like that was my Christmas present. That's all I needed.
Well, at least something in the NFL gave you a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and Kyle Pitts, that was y'all have heard enough of me about that.
Yeah, what a disaster.
I'm tired of that.
I personally, I don't even recall who the winner is in this category, but I voted for Austin Eckler. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure I voted for Eckler or something along those lines. He was going, in the top 5, and he's just been. And well, I don't know if it's just because of Brandon Staley sucks and just didn't know how to use the guy. He was the coordinator for how long? And I don't know. I don't understand where they got off on just, hey, you know what? This guy's not very good. We're just not going to give him his full touches. Even though he wasn't really good.
And I got benched a couple of times.
I have a hot take. He just Austin Eckler's just not a good football player. he hounded stats by catching dump offs.
Yeah, it's like when you see that. It's like when you see that quarterback that's like top 5 in fantasy because his team is like always losing, so he's always throwing the entire fourth quarter. And everyone thinks, yeah, he's a great quarterback. No, he's a great fantasy quarterback, but his team sucks.
Yeah, I feel. Let me look. His injury he missed a month or something.
I honestly forgot he existed for a solid 6-week period. Like he used to be my go-to for player props, and I saw Eckler. I was like, oh, I just thought they cut him.
I'm glad that I'm glad that he had a bad year. So hopefully people can understand that he's just not a good player. He doesn't run the ball well.
I understand that I'm going to get 3rd overall pick in the league next year and draft Austin Eckler again because I have an unhealthy addiction to that.
There you go. Jim Harbaugh will just say the right amount of stuff to make you want to draft him.
Yeah. Alrighty. Any other thoughts from anybody on any of these things, and then we'll reveal our fantasy LVP. No,
I think yeah.
And the fantasy LVP is drumroll, please. Thanks, Austin Eckler.
Congratulations, Austin Eckler.
Yeah, we'll send you a trophy. Maybe you can send us that lame title belt because nobody.
I wish they
on their fantasy team won.
I wish they would let you have like fantasy coaches on your team, just so I could make more rants about Arthur Smith.
Oh, you can. You just need to get in a better league, bro.
Oh, we need to do that.
I can tell you this: he's not going to get fired.
Well, when your game plan that made you successful was give the ball to AJ Brown and Derrick Henry, and then you try to replicate it with Desmond Ridder,
he's going to survive. I think
they're going to win one of these next 2 games and make it a close playoff race, and it's going to keep him alive.
What's crazy is so is Matt Eberflus.
I can understand both.
Underrated pick. I didn't get to say this on when me and Joe did the Christmas show the other day. Someone who, if it wasn't for the fact that the team he's coaching now is just good, that he would definitely take a head coaching job, and he needs one, is Steve Wilkes. I think if any of the teams that are going to probably need a coach by next year, I think he could turn them around, any of them around.
He's the DC for the Niners this year, right?
Yeah, mm-hmm. And the Niners. Because after when he was with the Panthers, when they were god awful, they went 3-1 in the 4 games he took over.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for Sam Darnold being Sam Darnold, they would have beat the Bucs and went to the playoffs last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They looked legit, and everyone actually listened to Steve Wilkes because he was the longest tenured coach there.
He's got some good stuff.
All right, let's head to commercial. When we get back, we'll talk MVPs, aka the Joe the Show Winkle Memorial Brock Purdy Award,
the Educated Ignorance Award.
Durham Remodeling has been serving the Quad Cities area since 1973, and with over 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all of your home improvement projects. This family-owned business has you covered on all your needs. Protect your home or building from the elements today and get great roof repair services. Need new windows? No problem. Durham Remodeling can upgrade your windows and doors. Whether you want to upgrade the little details in your home or office, or want to tear a room down and start fresh, the expert contractors at Durham Remodeling have your back. Even the smallest changes can completely transform your space. Ready to start entertaining your friends for backyard barbecues? Durham Remodeling will help you plan, design, and build your deck and patio for the perfect outdoor space. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 today for your free estimate for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715.
My name's Ryan Allison. I've spent over a decade immersed in the art of tattooing. Sharply honing my skills has materialized into a diverse and prestigious body of work. Each tattoo reflects my relentless pursuit of excellence, and every client I work with is a living embodiment of that unwavering commitment. I will gladly and wholeheartedly embrace your distinct vision.
Alrighty, we are back. Jordan's got some nice ink started with Ryan, I believe, right?
I haven't started anything yet, but yeah, we've been kind of in talks. I've got to go and sit down for a consultation. But once I get it started, I'll show you all.
Yeah, Jordan won a raffle to get 3 hours worth of work from Ryan. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would have entered that if I wasn't 14 hours away.
They've got teacher jobs here. Tell Lydia.
Not at the wage they're paying in New York.
Right, but cost of living is lower. So,
I mean, brother, 80K is 80K.
Touche. Alrighty, fantasy MVP. Our nominees here: Christian McCaffrey, Sam Laporta, Tyreek Hill, Puka Nacua, Jalen Hurts, and Raheem Mostert.
Puka's a dark horse there because when Cup came back, he's been on and off. But I see why. I mean, he's been great. I mean, obviously, like I feel like McCaffrey's almost getting to the point like if you allow a little baseball reference, that like 5-year stretch where Mike Trout didn't win an MVP, but he had better numbers than the guys that won MVP just because he was always putting up those numbers and it didn't look impressive.
Well, to be fair, one of those years that Mike Trout didn't win the MVP is because the other dude won Triple Crown.
Yeah. But McCaffrey is put up these numbers so consistently that I think everyone is just kind of, okay, it's a given. It's McCaffrey first pick, McCaffrey second. Like McCaffrey, like every year we always hear a new player that's like next year where everyone's going to talk about, take Tyreek first pick because of how great of a season he had. Just like everyone take Justin Jefferson first pick. But every the year before that, it was take Jonathan Taylor first pick. But every year consistently, it's always McCaffrey at the 1 or the 2.
Right.
I rarely see leagues unless they're just trolling where they don't take McCaffrey by the second pick.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, though, I mean, this year, I mean, it was an argument between Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and then after him, you know, it was your Austin Eckler, you know, and then like you said, people were going after Travis Kelce. I mean, I think Christian McCaffrey dropped below the top 5 for the first time in as long as I can remember. At least in one of the leagues that I was in, he didn't go until almost double digits.
And it's crazy because the only reason he dropped was because, like, I remember seeing people say, oh, well, he didn't seem to fit that well in the offense last year. It's like, yeah, because they were in the middle of the season and he had 6 weeks. Like, you give this team a whole year to prep around having the best running back in football. They're going to prep and actually make him successful.
There's people.
See, and I always...
I was seeing stuff. It was probably Panthers fans that were salty about the trade, but it was literally, I would just be seeing stuff that would say like McCaffrey wasn't what he was when he was on the Panthers in that 6-7 game window he was in San Francisco. And it's like, yeah, he was still learning the playbook.
That's wild.
He's like, and even then he was still putting up a touchdown almost every game and like 100 yards.
Yeah. He went 1-2 in my draft. I'm trying to remember who went 1-1.
He went 1-2 in mine just because my girlfriend had the first pick and I convinced her to go after Jefferson instead.
Yeah, Jefferson went 1 in mine.
I just think he's just injured. I mean, at least when in Carolina, it just seemed like he always had that stretch where there was 3 or 4 games where the guy was injured. And you start thinking about just the way he's used in San Francisco, he's not the whole team. I mean, in Carolina, that's who they had. He was the team. I mean, between him and DJ Moore for a little while. But, I mean, they leaned on that guy so heavy that, yeah, you know, you break down, you get injured. And that's what kind of scared me away is I was like, he had a few weeks with the 49ers. He was really good. But, you know, I didn't want to get caught by the injury bug because it always seems to happen. And it got me anyway.
It's almost like the same when with fantasy basketball, they when you see these teams build their death squads and their big threes, and like the third guy, if he's normally averaging 25 points a game, his numbers go down. I think some people were thinking that there's too many mouths to feed in that offense. He's not going to get as many touches. And then after week 2, it was just oh, he is the offense. The other guys are the ones that are fighting for the scraps.
Yeah. Somebody's definitely running to the ballot box and stuffing the ballot box right now for CeeDee Lamb. So,
I mean, talk about a guy that if he's on teams that are in championship games this week, talk about winning you a championship. What did he put up last night?
40?
Jeez,
he
Amari
almost
Amari
50 in my league.
And had he not fumbled on what's the most correct rule in the NFL that people hate?
Because they're stupid and people don't actually understand the sport. People that cover football don't understand how football works.
Wait, are you saying it's a bad rule?
No, it's a good rule.
Because if you were calling me stupid for the 7th consecutive week, I was going to punch you.
No, DJ, you're not stupid.
He doesn't want to break his record on this year. He wants to save it.
The problem is I hate because when that happens, it's a bunch of the blue checkmark folks with Twitter, or the artists formerly known as, I should say, that cover the NFL, and they're like, worst rule in football, strikes again. Just shows the people that cover the sport don't actually know how the sport works, which is
they just know if they say that it'll get them.
That is true.
Traffic.
It is top tier engagement.
Clickbait.
All right, and our fantasy MVP, as expected, Christian McCaffrey.
Shout out to him.
And for the Joe Winkle Memorial Educated Ignorance Brock Purdy Award of the Year, here's our MVP candidates: 4 quarterbacks and 2 position players.
God, you could make a case for McCaffrey to win both of them this year.
That's probably the correct
McCaffrey for both.
That's probably
also shout out Christian McCaffrey for making the most messed up but great fantasy football team name. I got to use it this year finally because I finally got him on my team, and I got banned from using it after the first time they saw it. It was the Christian McCaffrican Americans.
Oh, Jesus Christ! This is the correct top 6. Although I did put on mine, I did put Myles Garrett because I think he's actually the MVP of the league, but he won't win it because we live in an archaic society. There's no doubt about it that Myles Garrett's been the best player in the world this year, and it's not even close. But these are definitely the 6 best MVP candidates legitimately. And I think Lamar is going to win it unless the Dolphins, the one person that's not on here that could crash the party is Tua. If they win today and he goes off, he could leap them. Because then next week could send up AFC, because they'd clinch the division. Next week could set up them getting the 1 seed. So I think Tua's still got an outside shot. Because if you break it down, the MVP has been lost on a weekly basis now for like a month. So now we're going to see if it's Lamar's turn to lose it to Tua. What?
Yeah, I think if Tua beats Lamar, I think it almost cements McCaffrey as being the MVP, and that's my opinion. Yeah, does it give a case for Tua? Yeah, but I think it. Like I said, that would give every quarterback on this list just a bad game. I mean, or a bad couple games.
Well, Lamar they could lose and Lamar plays well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that world exists, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
just putting it out there. Just putting it out there, Joe Flacco MVP is at plus 25,000 right now. If y'all want to make a quick couple. Yeah, I know you are. Before the show started, I was like, DJ, I got a $5,000 to $5,000 parlay, and you popped in 5 seconds later.
What about comeback player of the year?
Yeah, I was going to ask, who do you guys think should win comeback player of the year?
Damar Hamlin is still minus money on that.
It should be Flacco.
Flacco.
Flacco
has more tackles than Damar Hamlin this year. Think about that. Yes, it's a very great thing that Damar Hamlin did not die on that field on national TV. For them and for Burger King for airing that commercial directly after.
Uh-huh.
But but he hasn't played this year. Like he really hasn't. And a Bills fan brought this
field goal block.
A Bills fan brought this up to me actually a couple of weeks ago. A buddy of mine that's a Bills fan. He was like the third string nickelback DB. He only played in that game because everyone else was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So if they didn't have all those injuries, we would never be talking about DeMar Hamlin.
Hey, listen, shout out to DeMar Hamlin for everything he went through. But yeah, the comeback player of the year. I think it should be Flacco or Baker. Considering
Baker's had a great year, but it's just been mired in the mediocrity that is the NFC South.
Baker went from exile to about to win a division and he's had a real good season. I think especially after his game against the Jaguars last week, you could definitely say it because that was crazy. But I think it's got to be Flacco. He came in as a screw it. We need an emergency quarterback to like now you got to question what's going to happen next year. Are they going to start a 40-year-old Flacco or are they going to trust Deshaun Watson again? No, Flacco will get looked at by somebody that needs a QB though. That's like a backup. I definitely believe. Here's a question for the class. Different award.
We haven't even awarded this award, Joe.
Go ahead, DJ. Award this one.
All right. Winner of our MVP award, Christian McCaffrey.
Damn. The fact that Bryce Young's not up there is a sham.
Raheem Mostert's inactive today, by the way.
Yeah, he got ruled out yesterday.
Hey, I just got a tweet about it. Okay.
Oh, really?
It was late.
Did you get that on Windows 98?
Yeah.
Adam Schefter just tweeted it, assholes.
I thought he brought it out last night too.
Going to commercial.
DJ just got
located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint's is serving up $1 wings and $2.50 drafts and domestics all day. And your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games? You'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and beer fix, finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City-style pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC-style pies for the last 24 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline.
Are you looking for the largest slice in the Quad Cities? The right spot is Lopez Pizza. It's better than a hot dog and a handshake. They have 2 great locations, uptown on Brady for your delivery and catering needs, and downtown at 429 East 3rd Street in Davenport for the full experience. Lopez is family-owned and family-friendly. Into wrestling like us, you can catch shows every day and twice on Sunday at their downtown location. Who knows, you may run into a local wrestler or a local podcaster or two while you're there. Stop by each month for a different featured slice by various artists. Lopez Pizza, a proud sponsor of the Card Subject to Change podcast on the For Frequency's Sake podcast network.
For Frequency's Sake has you covered on all things sports. From the squared circle to the hardwood and the gridiron to the speedway, we've got something for everyone. Walk down the aisle with the boys from Card Subject to Change every Sunday as they take a deep dive into everything pro wrestling. Need your gambling fix? We've got you there. Enter Pit Row with Rod Villagomez and Fast Money as we win the checkered flag with NASCAR, Xfinity, and truck race winners and props. Football more your style? Explore the waters of NFL DFS with DFS Deep Dive with Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan each week. More into the science portion of the game? We've got a double dose of action there. The Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson take you into their science lab and dissect your week in the data lab. Want an analytical take? Nick Gurl and the team at Gridiron AI come to you each week with The Lab. Need to know who to start last minute? The network's flagship show, For Fantasy's Sake, is here in a pinch. The fellows come to you live every football Sunday from 10 to 11:30 Central with the week's best DFS, gambling, and lineup advice. And wrap up your Sundays with Joe Winkle and Nick Brinks as they come to you live with educated ignorance looking at all the day's action. Can't get enough of Joe? He comes to you 3 times a week. Not enough football on Sunday? Not a problem. Kick your feet up at lunch on Monday and slip on into the football lounge with Mark and Dan while they look at the week that was in news, notes, and more. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
Should probably change that ad to Joe comes to you 3 times a month. Am I right?
Well, when you predicate your schedule around doing Sunday and Monday shows, and then you have, holidays on back-to-back Sundays and Mondays, It fucks the system, DJ.
Blame Julius Caesar for making the calendar, not me.
Someone should just stab him.
Someone should just give it to him right in the.
All right, since I know Dan has to depart early, we'll let Dan go before Jordan this week.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
Jordan
So-
is sitting over there like, don't you know it's my wife's birthday?
It is my wife's birthday.
Jordan's just trying to lock in the bets before the line change. He's okay with it.
Merry birthday.
Yeah, hurry, get him out.
All right, so we have
Jordan's like, hey, honey, I got you this plus 500 parlay for your birthday.
I'll post it on Twitter.
Yeah.
The Jordan's wife's birthday parlay.
Yeah, maybe I'll win 40K like she keeps telling me to do on the show.
Hey, DeMar Hamlin's also out today, guys.
Oh my God, what a shock!
I mean, I
Healthy
took him
scratch
at plus-
again.
They don't want him to
I
be.
took him at plus 10,000 to score a touchdown.
The Bills don't want him to be great.
They're saving him for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So we have 5 plays and our parlay of the day today. So the first play that I absolutely love, we locked this in this morning. We're taking the redacted money line against the Falcons. I am in my next 2 weeks will be fully fading Arthur Smith in the hopes that he gets fired. I just think these two teams play similar play style, but I think the only difference is that Justin Fields is willing to throw the ball down the field and Desmond Ridder can't throw the ball 5 yards and make it look like, I feel like every time he throws the ball past the 5-yard line, it looks like it's going to be an interception every single time. So I just think the Bears match up a little bit better here. They've won their last 5 home games. So I like them at home against a team that does not play well on the road. We have the Eagles and the Cardinals over 48. The Eagles defense has been atrocious this year. They're giving out points like it's candy, and especially against the run. And the Cardinals have been a better team when James Conner is healthy and playing. He's probably going to dominate today. I think this could be one of those games where I don't think the Cardinals will win it, but I think they're going to put up enough points that the Eagles are going to have to keep scoring in the fourth quarter to blow this one out. So give me the points on that one. We have I actually picked this before the news Russell Wilson got benched. So I'm actually glad about this one. We locked this one in Monday. It was the Chargers and the Broncos under 37.5. We have 2 backup quarterbacks in today. We have an offense that's non-existent in LA. You have Denver, who is going to be playing the next 2 weeks without their quarterback. And the big thing to really look at here is that the Chargers have a terrible pass defense and the Broncos don't have a great passing offense. So if the Chargers defense's run game is terrible, I would take the Broncos all day. But both of these teams' strengths do not match up with the other team's weaknesses. So this is going to be a really ugly game to watch. So I'm taking the under there. I have Houston -4 against the I caught this earlier before it moved. I got it -4 against Tennessee. Stroud is back. It's a must-win game. If they win today, the Texans' odd of making the playoffs goes to 54%. If they lose, it drops down to 10%. So this is a must-win game against a team that they almost beat with a backup quarterback. They didn't really look the best, but neither did the Titans. And the Titans have kind of waved the white flag. And a note someone showed me earlier today, if the Titans lose their next 2 matchups, they have an 80% chance of getting a top 7 pick this year. So they could potentially just kind of wave the white flag and lower it down. If they win one of these 2 of their next 2 matchups, their likelihood of getting a top 10 pick goes under 15%. So I'll take the percentages here. I think Houston needs a big game, and Tennessee is probably willing to just experiment with new players and let them get blown out. So give me Houston -4. And I took the Packers money line. I caught it at plus money on Monday. I don't know what it's at right now. If any of y'all are on DraftKings, I'm about to look that up myself. Also, side note,
Yeah.
Von Miller, he scratched today. Just announced.
He should be scratched from the league.
Yeah, Green Bay's at -102 now. I caught it at plus 108. I just think the way Green Bay has been playing and Minnesota's going to a quarterback that Jaren Hall was, I guess, supposed to be their future, or at least their solid backup, but we didn't even get a good chance to look at him when they was playing before he got a concussion. So this will really be his first week. They've had a good amount of success the first time they've shown a quarterback, because we see Dobbs won his first game. I think Mullins won his first game too when he came in for Dobbs. So I just think that this is a game Green Bay needs to win if they want to keep any kind of playoff hope alive. And Minnesota, they're both in the same position, but Green Bay has been playing a little bit better in my opinion, so I'm taking them. And our last play of the day is our Toys for Tot Drive parlay of the day. If you have been following us over on Twitter, we've been doing we're going to put a $5 parlay in every single day. And the profit we get at the time we do the Toys for Tot Drive next year, we're going to pull out and we're going to donate all that money. We're currently 4-1. We're up $12 right now off it. We lost the other night. But today's it's a little bit of a basketball one as well. We have the Niners money line. Obvious choice here with more than likely quarterback playing in Washington against a team that just they're going to want to smoke this team and get it over with quick. Oklahoma City Thunder money line, and then the Wizards money line going up against the Hawks money line going up against the Wizards tonight. It's plus 100 on the money, $5 to win 10. That's our plays for today, and we're gonna go ahead and lock all those in. They'll be posted on Twitter as well with a couple extra plays later on in the day.
But what's the Samantha Kernan birthday parlay of the day?
Patriots money line. No.
Damn.
I'll have to put one together. I'll probably put one together for the. I don't want to do the primetime game because I hate betting on like NFC North teams on player props. I don't know why they always screw me. So I'll have to make one for the 4:00 games. Jordan, pick a game for me. I'll make one. Hey,
Games. How about let's do Chiefs Bengals.
Gross. Fine, I'll do it. Fuck it.
I was gonna. Whoa, explicit tag.
Sorry. That's our second F-bomb.
I was gonna say do a parlay of prop bets of NFL players born like that have a birthday today, but they're all defensive players.
Hey, man, just imagine that would hit. Be a lot of good stuff
They
happening.
win that 40K for
Tampa Bay anytime defense, anytime touchdown. Bills anytime defense, anytime touchdown.
Micah Hyde touchdown and a sack.
Yep.
I mean, the Bills play the Patriots today.
I'm like dying over here.
Aren't we all?
All right, let's head to commercial, then we'll talk to Joe.
Take your energy level to new heights this football season with Lifted Energy. Try any of Lifted's 9 specialty energy drinks or create your own and conquer fatigue. Visit Lifted this fall at 2430 16th Street, Moline, or check their Facebook page at Lifted Energy to see what festival, market, or fair they are popping up at today. Lifted Energy, get lifted. Hate mowing? Need your lawn or business landscaped? Having trouble with an unruly yard that your neighbors hate? Yard Barbers LLC is your hookup. Mowing, weeding, edging, trimming, aerating, fertilizing, haul away, they can do it all. And they aren't just good for your summertime yard blues. They work all year long, and you can get signed up for their winter services for that annoying snow and ice removal. Find Yard Barbers on Facebook at Yard Barbers LLC, send them an email at yardbarbersqc@gmail.com, or shoot them a text at 309-235-1595.
All right. Joe, what are we looking at for you today?
What are we looking at? We're looking at Sunshine and Friends New Year's Eve parties. That's what we're looking at, gentlemen. It's a shame that the NFL didn't flex out of the NFC Vikings Packers meaningless nothing game in Sunday night and didn't put the Dolphins Ravens.
I bet my money would be that CBS protected that game.
Potentially, yeah, that's a possibility. That's a fair point. But you know what? At least that means I get to watch the Dolphins today because I will not be watching Sunday Night Football. Okay, so we're on a bit of a run. Our bowl picks this year have been amazing. Listen, someone will look at the record, which is now after last night.
Not as good as the graphics.
The graphics are amazing, honestly, top notch. Shout out to that guy.
Thanks. I did it half asleep off an hour and a half asleep on the train. So I'm actually impressed it came out that way.
We're 21-15 on the season for bowl games, which people will think 21-15 isn't great. But the fact that we're on bowl games, we are going, what is this here? 21 about it. We're going 58% against the spread. And
did you just do 58% in your head?
No, I had a calculator.
Oh, I was
sorry.
really impressed.
You're supposed to say yes.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
He's been doing basketball games for like a week straight. He's got all the numbers in his head right now.
I have that. There are a lot of numbers right now.
Danny's the smart one. Don't let him front you.
Don't believe that.
The fact that we're going 58% against the spread is really good, considering all these bowl games have insane opt-outs. You really have to do some research. So I'm proud of the bowl work. Hopefully tomorrow we do not fall off a cliff and it kills us. So look out for that. But if you want any quick college football playoff betting angles, I think we're going to take Michigan laying the 1.5 or whatever it's at, and the over in the Sugar Bowl between Washington and Texas. Let me see if I can find that number real quick via friends that we have on certain betting sites. So yes, Michigan laying 1.5. We're going to take that. And then we are also going to take the over of 62.5 in Texas and Washington. I definitely think both teams will get to at least 31. So that is the two picks we are going to definitely roll with tomorrow for that. And then, of course, we have other games that we're going to roll on as well. But in general, we're already 1-0 this week on the Sinister Six after a bounce back week last week. The Sinister Six record looking solid. Back to 500 after we had 2 weeks where we went 2-10 combined. The show with Dan really got us off the schneid because we went 4-2 last week. Lions covered for us yesterday, so shout out to them. We are going to start with the morning. It is the inactive bowl because there are really good players that are not playing in this game. It is the Dolphins and the Ravens, and it might be it could be a AFC Championship game preview. The 1 seed is on the line. The Dolphins in these big games this year, the under is hit. Think of the Chiefs game. Think of the Cowboys game. Think of the Eagles game. So these bigger games that they played in, the under is hit. Their defense is playing really well. I definitely see this as a 24-21 type of game. And I think the under 47 is the line to go. Patriots plus 13.5 points against the Bills.
With a P.
I said Patriots. Did I say Patriots?
Yeah, you emphasized the P.
Patriots, the Bailey Zappi-led Patriots, plus 13.5 against the Buffalo Bills. No one allows bad teams to cover like the Buffalo Bills. Listen, man, I understand. Everyone loves the Bills. Josh Allen's the greatest player of all time. Everyone's going to pick them to win the Super Bowl. They still can win the AFC East, but I think the Patriots will cover here. I don't think they'll win necessarily, but I think they will cover a large number. Plus, the value is in taking the large number lately. I think 6 of the last 7 I saw large spreads have covered. So, yeah, I like the Patriots to cover here. All right. Danny said it. He took the Bears money line. We're going to lay the points. I think they're going to win they're laying 3. That's what we got it at. I think you can get a better number than that now, if I'm not mistaken, right, Danny? Isn't it like 2? Wasn't it 2.5? Yeah, it's 2.5. Absolutely.
It's went down, but the money line value has went up, which is weird.
So you can lay 2.5 with the Bears, and I think that's the right call. It has nothing to do with other than the fact that it's the Falcons on the road is the main thing, and the Bears have just played really good. for about a month and a half now, to a degree. So I think you lay it. Panthers, Jags. So this was on the card when I thought Trevor Lawrence would play. And we took the over. The over now, as I'm looking, trying to find this stupid game, it's at 37.5. I think the over is still a solid play. Bryce Young has played better for the last couple weeks. Do I think the Jags can score enough to help us out? Maybe. But the problem here, well, I mean, actually, like, okay, 21-20, a game like that gets us over. 21-17 gets us over. That is kind of the realm that we need. Maybe a defensive touchdown, maybe a special teams touchdown can help us out here. Some short fields. I definitely think an over is a solid play, though. Without Trevor Lawrence, that is a sketchy ask. And then last but not least, talk about teams that don't cover against large numbers. We are taking the Cincinnati Bengals +7 against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's down to 6.5 in some markets. We got it at 7. Those are the Sinister 6 picks. We already covered with the Lions and should have been an outright winner if you're a Lions money line better. But hey, listen, the NFL just enjoys having terrible officiating. What happens when something like that? Because it's different. I know the same crew did the Eagles-Dolphins game when the penalties were like 31-0 in favor of Philadelphia. I know that they screwed the Chiefs on the DPI the no-call DPI against the Packers. But that's just penalties. Like, you miss calls like that all the time. What happened last night was like basic operational stuff that I hate that gets missed. What happens when that happens in the Super Bowl? When a guy lines up on the line of scrimmage and points that he's on, not like Kadarius Toney with the offsides thing, because that's like hit or miss on how you want that type of rule to be inflicted. But like, for example, one of the other calls that I hate the most, and I know I'm going on a rant here, but this just popped in my head. The other calls that I hate the most. Remember last year in the Sunday night football game when the Commanders played the Giants? And there was the Commanders were down, I think, 8, and they scored a touchdown, and they got called for not enough guys on the line. And the penalty was on Terry McLaurin, he was the outside receiver to the top of the field, and he looked to the official and pointed right at him. Again, he is the outside receiver to the top of the field. He looked at the receiver, gave him the thumbs up. The official gave him the thumbs up, and then he still threw the flag.
Yep.
That's one of the calls. That's one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life. Last night tops it because it directly also affected a win in playoff seeding. What's going to happen when that happens in a playoff game? Just basic operational stuff, which the NFL has screwed up all year. I mean,
can we at least all agree that they're better than the replacement refs?
Barely.
Yeah, but this is bad. Like, stuff that happened last night, and it's stuff. Again, it's not missing a holding call. If a guy's getting rear naked choked, they miss that all the time. Missing DPIs or OPIs, that happens all the time. You know what I mean? Even a guy maybe getting face masked. Look, missed calls like that happen all the time. Basic operational stuff of like how many guys are on the line of scrimmage, an illegal motion or something like that. If a guy jumps off sides or a guy's lined up in the neutral zone, like that stuff, that's just basic stuff that can't be missed.
It's interesting this from what I've noticed because, like you said, like the holding and the pass interference, that happens all the time. Even the players say every play is a hold. Every play is a pass interference, but it's not a pass interference just until it's called. Like every play, 99% of the time you're getting held. You're getting some way they're interfering with you. Mm-hmm. But since that Chiefs game, it seems like all the refs have been like, "Oh crap, we're supposed to be calling this," and they're like calling it a lot heavier now. Those little ticky tack ones. I remember always seeing like after like a crazy play than being like, oh, he was actually offside. They never called it. Can't believe this. And then now it's like, if your foot, it almost, I know y'all don't watch soccer, but it almost reminds me like the first year when the virtual assistant ref came out. And if a player was offside by like this much, they would call it back.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would find like the shirt sleeve or like if he had a wart on his elbow and it was over the line, they would call it an offside. And they would say like one guy got an offside because his nose was too big. His whole body was underneath, but his nose was this much in front of the defender. And they called it offside. Like it feels like that. It feels like when are we going to see Amon Ra with his little mouthpiece sticker on the top of his head leaning forward and they're going to call it because it just feels like maybe, I don't know. It seems like almost like the league sent out like a private memo that just said like, hey, y'all need to be calling this more. And then it just all of a sudden it's like every week now everything super technical is getting called.
And last night's not even like a super technical thing. Last night's just a basic concept of how that situation works. And
So
they screw it up. And it's not even an anti-Cowboys thing. I like the Cowboys a lot,
gross.
but
Fuck
like
the Cowboys.
Yeah.
but that was one of the worst. That was one of the worst calls I've ever. That's one of the worst missed like goof ups I've ever seen.
So via Adam Schefter on my Internet Explorer phone, the tripping call on Peyton Hendershot that even gave Detroit a chance to go for that 2-point conversion. The video shows that it was actually Aiden Hutchinson's leg tripping.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that should have been a penalty on him, and then Dallas would have run out the clock. So let's go to commercial, then we'll let Jordan rebuttal everything that Joe said. He's just sitting there, Joe, you're an idiot. I hate you.
I mean, there's no rebuttal. It was a terrible call. But
he's right. And after looking at it, I mean, we kind of had a thing on Facebook yesterday for everybody who wants to go back and read it. But like I said, I was strictly kind of going off of what they were talking about on commentary. And yeah, obviously, I mean, wrong call. I mean,
the problem is the commentary team in action. Like they missed it terribly too, and I think they did an interview in the post show, and Aikman mentioned that it was on tape. It's basically like if a guy got shot in the head on camera, and they tried to mention how the guy didn't really shoot somebody, like the person didn't really shoot him in the head on camera, and then someone's like, I mean, we have video evidence that this person shot this person in the head on camera. Like that's what happened.
To be fair, it would be we have video evidence that this person got shot in the head on camera. We have no idea what
that's fair
he was saying to him. We know he went to him. We have no idea what was said.
The crazy thing is, which is all I mean, listen, these officials that they allow on the broadcast, like the extra guy, the fact that guy was saying the ref did a good job is hilarious. The NFL must pay those jamokes to just be like, even if the official misses a guy getting kicked in the nuts while trying to rush a passer, you have to say it was a good call. Like that's mind-boggling to me.
All right, let's head to commercial real quick. Is that okay with you, Joe? Do I have your permission?
Of course.
Do you love everything sports? So do we. That's why we shop at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Atomic has everything you could ever want to blow up your collections. They have sports cards ranging from the 1980s to today, whether it's singles, wax packs, hangers, or boxes. They've got vintage hats, clothes, and collectibles from your favorite teams to widen your collection. Check out Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles today at 102 4th Street West, Milan, Illinois.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football. Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and Twitter, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
All right, we are back. We're going to talk a little DFS. Jordan's gonna get us out of here early today. So, Jordan, who we stacking today?
Honestly, I'm not stacking today. It's too expensive. I mean, you look at you look at every quarterback there's a few that you could stack, but I don't trust the people. So like if I'm stacking, okay, if I'm playing Josh Allen, I'm probably going to stack him with Stephon Diggs, because I trust Stephon Diggs. If Josh Allen's doing it, it's probably with Stephon Diggs. If Josh Allen's not doing it, then nobody else is.
Gabe Davis, come on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is you're throwing out those guys who, my goodness, what just happened to my computer? You're throwing out those guys who are, you don't know if you can really trust them or not. So it's one of those things to where, I'm not going to stack Josh Allen with Dalton Kincaid and then Dawson Knox is going to have the day, or stack him with Gabe Davis and Gabe Davis puts up a 0, or Khalil Shakir hoping that he catches a long bomb. I'm going to stack my quarterback with the guy that he's going to throw the ball to, like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is one of the highest owned quarterbacks on the slate this week, and obvious guy is AJ Brown, but Devonta Smith's been having a good time. Dallas Goedert is. They talked about wanting to get the ball into DeAndre Swift's hands a little bit more. So I think there's a different way to go this week. And the way that I'm going is Tyrod Taylor. You can stack him if you want. His stack options are super cheap, but I think they got the pricing wrong on DraftKings with Tyrod Taylor. He comes in for Tommy DeVito last week. Tommy DeVito is still priced higher than Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, I think, has just the higher upside. The matchup isn't so bad against the Rams. And putting Tyrod Taylor in there allows me to get Christian McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, and, I can play Zamir White, who's going to get all the touches for the Raiders. Clyde Edwards-Helaire he was somebody else who I liked until Isaiah Pacheco cleared concussion protocol. But, just being able to pay down for those quarterbacks allows you to do so much more and kind of lock in those points with the guys who are going to give you that floor. Kyron Williams and Christian McCaffrey are going to touch the ball at least 15 to 20 times today. They both have good matchups against crappy defenses. It kind of makes you wide receivers kind of been all over the place anyway, but it lets you still play some of those mid-range wide receivers and still makes me feel good about my lineup. I'm confident Tyrod Taylor can get you at least 15 points, and I'm not super, the only other guy that I really, really like is Lamar Jackson. And you can take Lamar Jackson and stack him with some cheap pieces. Zay Flowers is only 5,600. Isaiah Likely is only 4,600. I do like that stack, but everybody higher than him, I'm not even touching. If you look at my article, I think I wrote some of those guys up, but I really like paying way down for quarterback this week.
Any other strong feelings that you did not express in your Substack or Friday show?
If you look at my article, we kind of talked about Jacoby Brissett, but Jacoby Brissett is not starting today. He's actually out, so they're going back to Sam Howell. I don't mind Sam Howell because you can beat San Francisco through the air. I don't think they beat San Francisco at all. I think San Francisco dog walks them and walks away with that game. But, I don't mind that. There's just a lot of guys who are just super cheap. And that's the biggest thing is you just look, and I like the cheap quarterbacks. And I don't know that there might have been a week or two where the guys who are, 7,500 and above have won you a tournament. But you look at just the cheaper guys. The guys in the $6,000 range is where I've been living all season long, and I just don't like any of the matchups for them. Yeah, that's just me. I'm paying way down a quarterback. It allows me to put running back where I think the running back floor and the upside is there. It's just hard to guess on wide receiver this week.
I will say I would be interested if I were partaking in any of the lineup setting or betting on this game. I think Jake Browning and Jamar Chase might be an interesting option, especially with L'Jarius Sneed probably not playing. And that would make I think there's a chance the Bengals win this game. So maybe that's me being negative because my team sucks right now. But we'll go with
there's
that.
a better chance You think there's a better chance of the Bengals winning, or if there's a better chance of the Chiefs actually scoring like 28 points? And
I don't know, man. I'm just worried with no
Against the
luxurious
defense has been
need that
bad.
we're just going to have a replay of Jamar Chase just dunking on us for 60 minutes. So
Possibility. The only problem I have with that in my head, thinking about it, of like the Bengals' chance to win, I think the game will be slow scoring enough to where I don't think the Bengals are going to score 3 points. So I think, if the Chiefs can only muster up 24, I think the Bengals can cover.
I will say though, if
But Browning was terrible against the Steelers. Go ahead.
I think there's a chance that they throw some just crazy, like we've talked about all year. I think there's a chance Spagnuolo just throws some crazy stuff at Orlando Brown Jr. and makes it a long day for him. So
Potential.
And if it's a long day for your left tackle, it's a long day for your quarterback.
Yeah, and they were bad. Like Browning had some bad moments against Pittsburgh. So that's an interesting one. The what about a Jaron Hall, Justin Jefferson stack against one of the worst defenses in the league in the last month in the Green Bay Packers, considering
down Alexander and Stokes.
Down them, Joe Barry. The Packers are clearly revolting against their defensive coordinator. It feels like. That's just kind of, hey, listen, the odds of that are bad, but I think Jefferson should have a big day.
I'm from here, so I went out for the coin toss. Might be one of the greatest sound clips of ever.
It's wild. It's such a wild thing, honestly. Great on him, but listen, man.
All right, either of you guys have anything to add for week 17?
I have this is our last Sunday show of the year for this, and I wanted to add I was a couple ancillary things just on a league status. One of the things I was thinking of when you look at postseason awards we're getting close to, is this the best coach of the year race in league history? You could name 5 guys.
It's got to be Kevin Stefanski, right?
See, you'd think you could go through that about anybody or about any of these guys. So
this is back to Joe from 6 weeks ago when he's like, yeah, but Lamar Jackson, this is why every team sucks.
Exactly. Well, yeah, to a degree, but in a positive way. So for coach of the year contenders, you have the 2 AFC South teams that are probably going to be in I hope the Sunday night game next week is Colts Texans, 7 seed on the line, Hell in a Cell match. Both of those teams have coach of the year candidates, Shane Steichen and DeMeco Ryan. Of course, Kevin Stefanski. They've gone through 4 quarterbacks. People also thought that he should have been fired at some point in this season, which is a wild take. The Browns are awesome and could win a playoff game or two.
Can't forget Doug the dude in Buffalo. Yeah, they should win all the awards.
Yeah, the greatest quarterback of all time. Gabe Davis is the greatest fantasy receiver of all time. Damar Hamlin is the greatest comeback player of the year of all time. And I'm kidding. Sean McDermott, hopefully they lose their next 2 games and he gets fired. That would be funny. And then the other one too is Dan Campbell. The Lions haven't been this good since we were all dead, not existent in this world.
Jordan and I were alive.
When they, listen, man, fair enough. But their 31st division title in 30 years. If they didn't get job last night, they'd have a chance for the 1 seed. So I think you have a lot of great candidates for coach of the year, and obviously Kyle Shanahan, considering this entire season has been just a mixtape of him being great at his job. But a lot of coaches this season have been balling out. Outside of that, let's all hope that that next week we have a lot of fun playoff scenarios, which I think we can. We could have a couple division titles, or we could have at least one division title on the line.
Yeah,
we should
make the playoffs. It's possible.
Man, the fact that that's even a thing. If they had an award, if they had an award for your coach got fired, but here's an interim coach of the year award, Antonio Pierce wins it with a bullet, unanimous.
Oh yeah,
for sure. He should be their coach next year for sure.
Absolutely.
Especially because they booted it last time. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we talk about like you said, kind of into season, like on that forum. You know, it was like what NFL moment has really stood out. I mean, the great call last night by the officials for the Cowboys win was, you know, if that would have happened beforehand, I would have put that on there. But in all seriousness, like there's been some good moments, but nothing that really stood out to me. But the fact that there is such a tight, like, playoff race right now, still with how many teams have been. And it's not even that the teams have been like usually like the Chiefs are, 14 and 2 at this point. There's nobody out there besides the Ravens, and even the Ravens have a chance to not be the number 1 seed in the AFC. Like there's so many good matchups left, and there's so many different potential outcomes for the playoffs that like I'm super excited to watch week 17 and week 18. Like I think that next week instead of having a bunch of games where you don't have any meaningful football left, you're going to have some serious games, and you're going to be like, okay, just like Joe said, like you hope that there's that seed on the line where it's like it's winner take all. Here you go, and I'm excited for these next 2 weeks. I'm excited for this week. I'm excited for next week. Like there's just it's not very often you can say that about the last 2 weeks of the football season.
Here's the amount of games next week that could have playoff implications: Bears, Packers, Bills, Dolphins, Steelers, Ravens, Bucks, Panthers. If the Bucks lose today, but the Bucks, I think will win, so we'll not count that one. Browns, Bengals, Lions, Vikings, Texans, Colts, Broncos, Raiders, Falcons, Saints. That's 8, and that's it. So like,
and
there's
Chiefs,
half the
Chiefs, Chargers.
Oh yeah, Chiefs, Chargers. Yes, if the Chiefs lost today, Chiefs clinched the division though, correct, with a win today, right?
With
Yeah,
win.
obviously.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So there's a potential for 9 games that have playoff implications next week. And again, I'm really hoping that we were not doing Sunday Night Live shows when the Raiders-Chargers game from 2 years ago happened, which was maybe the greatest regular season game in NFL history, not because of the play, but because of how hilarious it was. I need a game like that, and I need it to be Colts and Texans, so Nick and I can just be higher than life. Come like it just could be. I mean, could you imagine the first segment of that show if that's the kind of game we get to end the season next week? But yes, to your point as well, even the Ravens and the Niners have been the clear-cut 2 best teams for a bit, and even they have. I mean, the Ravens are definitely one. The Niners, when you look at it, I mean, they've been the juggernaut, and they have a clear flaw with their quarterback, where he can be a reason they lose. So it's like these games when we get to, I think the playoffs are going to be fantastic. I really do.
Absolutely.
Because there's so many different teams that can win, and there's a potential for chaos. Like, could you imagine if we get like a Browns-Ravens conference title game? Joe Flacco on a 2011-esque bender.
Wow.
Just throwing jump balls to Amari Cooper like he did Anquan Bolden on route to a Super Bowl. And he has to go through Baltimore to do it. Like, could you imagine? That would be great content.
That's just the excitingness, though. I mean, like that's like the playoff. Like I haven't been more excited for like playoff football in quite a while, because there just has been that X factor. Like there hasn't, you're like, okay, the Chiefs are going to walk to the Super Bowl. Okay, this team's been dominant. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. Like, you don't know. Like all these teams have shown their ass at some point or another this season, barring except for, I mean, and you could throw in the Ravens and say the Ravens have been really good all year, but yet even they have. I mean, didn't they lose to the Colts? At the very beginning of the season. I mean, every team's shown their ass at some point this year. So who knows? Any given Sunday, right?
No, you're totally right.
I want to say that in that forum, I want to read it whenever I want to read it. Everybody's favorite moment from the NFL season. Nick Brinks was Miami putting up 70 versus Denver.
That was hilarious. That's
Jordan
great.
Kernan's, like he said, not one moment. It's been a great season. Dan liked the Bears-Commanders game.
Yeah.
Jordan Rangel said he enjoyed the 2-week Josh Dobbs hype.
Oh, I can only imagine it being a Vikings fan during that moment.
Gunnar Haskins says whenever the Bears hire Luke or fire Luke Getsy. Joe obviously enjoyed the Bills' loss to the Broncos.
Oh my gosh, great moment.
And then I voted for my favorite moment of the NFL season is whenever it gets over.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for you.
Just all sports, man. First, the Cardinals are just trash, and then the Chiefs are just not the Chiefs we're used to, and then we're not even going to get to my favorite college basketball team.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about that.
So I do want to. We're going to wrap up a little early today. I've got a sick kid downstairs, Jordan's wife's birthday. So I do want to get to a couple things. I posted on this both on our Twitter and our Facebook. Obviously, if you watch our show, listen to our podcast, follow our Facebook, we're big into charity over here. So I did post each year. This group comes up where the top fantasy relevant guys, they kind of make a list of their charities and their favorite charities and who they work with. So if you win your league and it's got a payout, consider donating a little bit of your money to that guy's thing. Give back a little bit. I did post that list on both of our Facebook and our Twitter page. I also want to thank everybody who has watched this year, commented, shared our posts. It looks like we'll probably fall a little short of that 100 subscribers on YouTube, but if you haven't subscribed, push that button.
Mm-hmm.
This is our last show for fantasy's sake, but we're going to have Educated Ignorance. I assume Jordan's going to be back this next week with another episode of DFS Deep Dive. Obviously, we're going to have Daniel winning you some money. So we're going to have plenty of shows, even though this is the last one for us this year. So keep tuning in, keep sharing, keep commenting. That's what keeps us on the air. Obviously, keep watching. I want to thank all of our sponsors. I'm going to try to run through a quick list here. Carl Durham and Durham Remodeling, Ryan Allison and Ryan Allison Tattoo, BK Kluger and Clint's Draft House, Low Pies Pizza, Lifted Energy, Yard Barbers, Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles, A Cut Above and David Live. Also want to give a shout out to Ken Jacoby. Want to give a shout out to the boys from Review from the West. Sean Temple for recording our promo. Our team. I'm going to try here. We got Joe and Jordan, obviously. We've got their cohorts in Nick Brinks and Brian Craighead. We've got Dan Hancock. We've got, obviously, Doug Green, Sam Odiemi. We got our boys from Card Subject to Change, Stripes, The Wizard CZ, and Never Wrong Nick Bull. I know we got the boys from the Data Lab, Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, and
shout out to
we got Aaron Herman who does our Survivor League stuff that comes through the Substack. Mm-hmm. Who are you shouting out?
Our boys at the Football Lounge.
Our boys. Oh yeah, Mark and Dan at the Football Lounge. I knew I was going to forget somebody. I'm doing all this from the top of my noggin. Okay.
Hey man, shout out to that Super Bowl plane every week, man.
Yeah, Super Bowl plane and explaining why the Chiefs are still in first class.
I mean, listen, I get it. Why would you not? It's hard to bet against. It's hard to bet against the
first class is the first cabin to hit the mountain when the plane crashes. So
also a possibility.
Obviously, I want to thank my wife and my kids for sharing me every Sunday. Jordan's wife and kids for sharing. Joe's girlfriend for sharing him. Nick Brinks' family for sharing him. Dan's fiance that changed from the beginning of the season for sharing him every week. We couldn't do it without you guys. Obviously, that's what keeps us running is that we have supportive significant others that are willing to give us an hour and a half to talk about football with our friends. So,
yeah, we got a lot of cool people around us, man, that do a lot of cool stuff, whether it be family or the friends that we make on this show or any show that we do. And yeah, shout out to all of our sponsors as well that help us, and shout out to everybody that does work on what we do here, man. We got so many great people that put that content out, man. We're out here doing it for the content. Hashtag for the content.
Yeah, like I said, if you're still tuned into this today, we'll listen to our diatribe of thank yous. Make sure to tune into our other stuff. For Fantasy's sake is definitely the worst show on the network, and I think it's a very good show. So check out the other stuff we do. It's really great content. Card Subject to Change puts out a wrestling show every single week. Joe, when he feels up to it, comes and yells at the TV, yells at the computer screen.
It's been holidays, man.
I'm just giving you crap. He yells at Nick Brinks. It's a very verbally abusive relationship.
False.
No, the abusive relationships between Joe and the computer screen. So
it really is. So for the Educate Ignorance schedule, we'll be back to normal next Sunday night. We will have our regular season finale. Let's hope. Let's all pray that we get excellence in the Sunday night football game to end the season.
Yeah, during the playoffs, we'll still have Joe. We'll still have the football lounge.
Yep, we'll be going like midweek for the preview, and then we'll do Sunday nights.
Yeah. We'll still be firing up during football season, even though the fantasy guys won't be here. We will have a league for the playoffs. Little interesting thing. It'll be posted on our socials. So, anything you want to add, boys?
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun being here. Appreciate you guys letting me on. Let me talk my takes. So,
yeah, just think it was 18 weeks ago, we were sitting at the card show at the Milan Community Center for the Atomic card thing. And, we were previewing the season, and now we're shutting her down. We just need Doug here. Where's Doug?
Douglas.
Doug, where you at? Where's my best friend, Doug?
Best friend, Doug. We need to go give him a best friend hug.
Exactly. Yeah, if Doug was here, it would just be like the setup from preseason show. We look forward to doing that again next year. So I guess I'll sign this out for Joe. We're putting the flowers on the grave of Florida State's national championship run. Officer K over here. Jordan, you missed a really fun, Joe, you missed a really fun game like 2 weeks ago where
I know. I feel like I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We'll have to do that in the off season sometime. So we are out for 2023. Tomorrow's 2024. So
everyone be safe tonight. Be responsible. Do fun stuff. Enjoy life. And have fun watching college football tomorrow.
Yeah. Roll Tide.
Something like that.